Hi, this is The Greatest Story Ever Played. I'm Dan,
I'm Jordan.
and today we are talking about In Harm's Way, which is episode 3 of The Walking Dead Season 2.
Yes, sir. Cool. So, description is captured, bloody, and beaten. Clementine and her group learn what it's like to live under the heel of a leader whose intelligence is rivaled only by his propensity for brutal violence. With escape being a priority, Clem is forced to make hard-hitting decisions in an episode where the weak will perish and only the strong will survive.
All right. So the game begins with Clementine standing in the woods while Sarah is nearby, out of the way, using the bathroom. And so Clementine had just went with her to, chaperone in a sense. After this,
Yeah.
After this, she heads back to the van, which is, I guess, like a U-Haul van, really, that Carver and his soldiers have the group in after they captured him last time. So they head back to the van, and you have an interaction with Carver where you hear him radioing back to their base. And he'll scold you for, like, eavesdropping. And you can react a couple of ways. I just stared him down, so I got hit in the face by Carver. What happened for you here?
I did the same thing. I got hit too.
Okay.
I think that's what I did.
Yeah, I think you can
Because
talk. I think you can talk shit to him or apologize.
Yeah, I think I might have talked shit actually. I think either way I got hit.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely didn't apologize because fuck that. But yeah, I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, either way, same result for me.
Yeah, I just stared him down and got hit. And so it's already been fuck this guy, but it started that way with this episode for me for sure. After this experience, so inside the van, you've got the group together, and they're arguing about what to do. So on one hand, you've got like Carlos and some of the other people being like, "Oh, Carver's like a scary guy, like we should just kind of listen to him." And Kenny's more of his typical like, "Nah, fuck that, let's break out, we could fight him," like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can kind of choose sides. I tried to stay pretty neutral, but in the end was kind of like, "I'm behind you, Kenny, like you're my friend," kind of thing. Even though I don't really think what you're doing is a good idea.
Yeah, this was one of the hard things where you're kind of like, Kenny, you're an idiot. And so I was the same. I mean, I backed him up. I wasn't even really neutral. I was like, all right, fine. I'm gonna just support you, even though this is the dumbest idea you've ever had. Like,
Right.
Hands down.
Yeah, not smart at all. Fortunately, or I guess also in this time, Kenny ends up freeing his hands by using his like binding on like a piece of metal that's off the side of the van, kind of thing. So he undoes his binding, and he's like, "All right, we got to be ready to fight." And we're like, "All right, fine." But the truck hits a bump, and Kenny like bounces his face first into the door and knocks himself out. So
Yeah. So there's a fitting end for him in this situation.
yeah, totally. And fortunate for us, because I was like, this is a bad idea, but like, you're my dude, I'll support you. So, Kenny's knocked out, and we arrive at the compound. At the compound, what it is basically like an old Walmart that got converted into their base. And it's a pretty good base, I would say. It's really big. They've got a lot of food. Like, they've got food piled up on some of the shelves, kind of thing. Like, it's pretty thorough, I guess, as a place. Also, there's a lot of people there. The intercom works, so Carver like goes up there and starts kind of making announcements to the group, kind of thing. So it's a pretty decent setup, actually.
Yeah, and I'll talk about this more in the general thoughts, but this to me really felt like Negan's compound from the TV show, like his main base. Because yeah, there's like workers, there's guards, there's like they have like a garden to grow food. Yeah, it's like well fortified. It's a good spot. So if Carver wasn't such a dick, it'd be a good place to stay for sure.
Yeah, totally. From here, the group is taken over to the detention center, I guess, which is the old garden area. So it's secured. Walkers aren't going to like bust through and eat them while they're sleeping. But you've got to sleep in the cold. Like, once you act right, you'll get to come in with the rest of us. But until then, you're in detention. And
yeah, it's like outdoor prison.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, we didn't kick you out in that, like, you have to survive out there on your own, but you're not really one of us yet. You've got to, like, prove yourself, basically.
Yeah.
And while they're in detention, they meet a couple people who are already in the detention center that live there. First, there's Reggie, who is a guy who helped them escape and also has one arm now. So at first people are like, oh, did like Carver do this to you? And he says no. While I was out working, I got bit by a walker and Mike cut it off. And so, I'm glad to be alive still. I could have been dead. And he's kind of, he really wants to get back into Carver's good graces. He wants to be able to be back inside, be out of detention. And like, he's like, Carver gave me a second chance. He could give you one too. Like that's sort of his vibe.
Yeah, he's either super naive or he's like just an ass kisser because he wants to be back in the safety of the inside building. Either way makes sense, but he's like friendly and cool. Just kind of he's kind of annoying to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you also have Mike, who is, I think he's newer to the group, and he's clearly like the muscle of the people that are here. Like he can beat some ass, it seems like.
Yeah.
And then you've got Jane, who, according to Mike, hasn't said anything at all since she's been there, and she just kind of works and is quiet and seems kind of weird. And yeah, I guess that's kind of your crew you meet here.
Mm-hmm.
So then they all go to sleep. The next morning they wake up. Roll call's happening. Carver's like laying out the ground rules, the instructions for the day, the chores they'll be doing, that kind of shit. And while they're kind of at roll call, Sarah's just talking to Clementine during roll call, like, hey, Clementine, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I was thinking, blah, 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 blah. And you're kind of like, hey, shh.
Yeah, shut
like,
the fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah. Which unfortunately doesn't work. And Carver calls her out and is like, Carlos, you're not handling your daughter well. You need to discipline her. And Carlos is like, it won't happen again. I'm sorry. And Carver's like, nah, sorry's not good enough. You need to make her know. You need to hit her in the face. And Carlos is like, I don't want to do that. And Carver is like, well, I'll get Troy to do it. And he's going to hit her a lot worse, probably, than you. So you need to do it. I tried to take the blame here, but it didn't matter. It didn't work. Carver still honed in on, no, this is Sarah and Carlos's problem to deal with.
Yeah, this was super brutal. This was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me, for Carver.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're not just trying to keep power. You're just a dick.
Yeah, he's like controlling by violence at all ends, not just I had to get my people back so I killed people to do it, but like I am going to keep you in line and keep you doing exactly what I want. Otherwise, you will suffer consequences, like kind of thing. So Carlos has to smack Sarah, and he hits her pretty hard because he knows if he doesn't hit her hard enough, that Carver is going to make him do it again or have someone else do it. So that happens, kind of a rough start to the morning, and we head off to do our chores. So our first chore is we go and load gun magazines with Bonnie. And while we're loading them, she talks to us and she says sorry. For last episode, she'd come up and said she was looking for some food for her family, and like deceived us to kind of know this is where we were held up. And she says sorry, and she's like, I thought this would resolve peacefully. I didn't think Carver would do anything bad. Like, it's clear she's starting to question how good Carver is or isn't. Like, she's a little uncertain because she was like, I thought we would just be like, bringing it back, but things wouldn't get violent. And now some people are dead, and I feel bad about that.
Yeah, part of me is like, I don't believe that she thought that, because I mean, it took us all of less than a day to figure out how mean and bad Carver was. I was like, you've been here for any time at all, you're pretty aware, probably.
Yeah.
Because she's like in the inner circle thing too, so she's got to know. To me, she just felt bad because she's, I mean, not a terrible person.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It seems like I don't know how she wouldn't know, kind of thing. So yeah, I agree. I think she just feels bad and is hoping to like ease her conscience or something.
Yeah.
From here, we get moved to our second chore, which is doing some gardening with Reggie and Sarah. And while we're there, we get there a little early, and Sarah is kind of shell-shocked about her dad hitting her. And is like, even when I've been really bad, like, he's never done anything like that. And, like, why do people gotta be mean? Even when I'm really angry, I would never hit someone. Like, that kind of thing. And I tried to console her and just be like, it wasn't your dad. He didn't want to do that. Like, that's Carver, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the route I took, too.
And she seemed to understand and was like, well, Carver hits pretty hard then, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, he does. It looked like it, kind of thing. So I thought it was good. I thought that was probably the right way to go of trying to console her. But after that, Reggie shows up. Carver shows up, so she's a little afraid seeing that. Or no, just Reggie shows up. Reggie shows up and is like, all right, this is what we do. Here's how to do it. We each have our table and we'll do our job. We see that Sarah is unable to work. She's like looking at it and she's just still pretty paralyzed by what's gone on. And this is where our first decision comes up, which is, do you help Sarah with her chores or not? What did you do?
Yeah, I ended up helping her. It seemed like the right choice in the moment. Well, one, because like, we know Carver's gonna get pissed, or at least at us or at Reggie or something if the chores aren't done. It's like I probably have time to help her and then finish mine too, because we were pretty good at it. So, it's like, yeah, I'm for sure gonna help Sarah, and it wasn't even her fault. She got smacked by her dad.
Right. Yeah, I did the same thing, and same reasoning. It's like, I could probably get mine done too. And, like, I don't want her to get in more trouble. Like, she's had a hard day. Like, I will try to help you out, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And 55% of people did this, whereas 45% of people only did their own work, kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm a little surprised it's not more weighted the way we went. I figured it would be more like a 60 or 70.
Yeah, I bet some people just don't like Sarah.
Yeah.
She's kind of incompetent.
No, yeah. She's not fit for the Walking Dead world, kind of thing. She's too, like, kind and childish, I guess.
Yeah, and some of it's kind of it's Carlos's fault for trying to not let her live in this world,
Right, yeah. He's being sheltering, but it's like naive at this point. Like, I guess I could see trying to like spare her of like the zombie world, like 1 month in or something. But like, this has gone on long enough that like it's not really gonna change, and so she has to like be able to deal with this stuff. Because I don't know, would they really think life would go back or whatever? Like, they shouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know what the end game is there, what he's thinking, like, or what he would be thinking long term.
Mm-hmm.
Unless maybe they find something like Carver's place that's not run by a Nazi dictator. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Pogo on Twitter wrote in though and said, of course, so they help Sarah.
Yeah, and then Lauren on Twitter said yes, so same with us.
So at this point, after helping Sarah, Carver comes in to check on our work. And he sees that Clementine's isn't done, and he gets pissed at Reggie for it. He's like, Reggie, what the hell, man? You're supposed to have taught these girls how to do it, to be able to get all this done. You're slacking, you're letting the group down, kind of thing. And Reggie just kind of starts making excuses, and he's like, well, she was supposed to do her work, and I have one arm, and stuff like that. And
pretty good reasoning.
Yeah, and Carver is not having it. He's like, those are excuses. I don't want to hear that shit. Girls, go outside. I need to have a talk with Reggie. And you're like, okay. Like,
he's dead for sure. That was my first thought.
Yeah, you're like, this isn't good. And, like, I don't know. Anytime you're around Carver, if he's mad, I would definitely want to not be in this situation. So I was glad to be asked to leave.
Yep.
They're outside waiting. They hear more yelling, and Carver is pushing Reggie, and then he pushes Reggie off the roof nearby them. And Reggie falls off the top of a Walmart and dies, hitting the ground. So, dead. No more Reggie.
Sad.
Yeah, intense. And Carver's like, sorry you had to see that, but, you know, incompetence really brings us all down, and Reggie was incompetent. And you're just like, all right, man. Like,
you just murdered this dude for something pretty insignificant.
Yeah, and it was not like we were calling it quits. You just came in mid-shift, and you were like, you're not done with the work. I'm going to kill you. Like,
yeah, and it wasn't his fault at all. It was technically Sarah's fault, and technically our fault for helping Sarah.
Yeah. I'm guessing. I guess Carver probably just wanted to kill Reggie and needed a reason.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But from here, we get sent on to our third chore, which is to take nails to Kenny and Mike, who are working on the expansion area. So they have maybe the whole Walmart, they do have the entire Walmart covered, but the strip has other stores in it. And so they're trying to expand to include other stores into their, fortress. So rather than just the Walmart, they want to have the whole plaza, is kind of their aim. So we head out there to give Mike and Kenny the nails, because they're working on that area, like fortifying it so that they can, have those areas too. While we're over there, a bunch of walkers start crashing through the walls, the wood walls of the expansion, so it's not working.
Yeah, not very well at all.
Not very well. And the walkers come in. You've got a little bit of a crazy fight going on. You have to dodge some, you get to kill a couple, and then finally Troy, who's one of Carver's guys, shows up and kills the last walker before it gets you, and he's like, you stupid babies, you're always making me have to save you, you're the worst. And it's just
yeah,
he sucks. He's such a piece of shit.
Yep. He's not as bad as Carver though, but he's bad.
Yeah, he's not worse than Carver, but in some ways I hate him more, because he's just an asshole.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, he sucks. So from here, for Troy's mad, and he's like, oh, I gotta watch you babies, while you make this wall. So Mike and Kenny are still there working on the wall, and you get sent back to go do a different chore. And so you leave the part of the expansion you were in, and then there's a comic book shop, and then Walmart. So you You're walking by, and the comic book door opens, and someone puts their hand around your face and pulls you in. And it's Luke. And he tells you that he's been, running day and night kind of thing to catch up with you guys to get here. He said that there's a giant herd of walkers that is coming this way. And he wants to make a plan to be able to help all of you escape. And he says, come back here tomorrow, same time. We'll make our plan official. Go tell the others, I'm going to get you guys out. Which is cool. Good hope to get. It's okay, cool. Luke didn't ditch us. He is around, and maybe we've got a shot at escaping. Mm-hmm. From here, Troy, catches us, as we walk out of the comic book shop, and yells at us and tells us that we can't do that shit. And I just said I was scared of walkers, and he was like, don't have that shit happen again, basically. From here, we get called into Carver's office. He wants to have a talk with us. We walk in and we see that he's been torturing Alvin. And Alvin's fucked up. He's tied to a chair. His face is beat up. He's knocked out. It's not a good scene. And
it's really bad. Yeah, because Alvin's cool too. So
yeah,
it's just kind of then once because then is this you kind of find out why he was torturing him too, don't you?
yeah.
It's in this part of then a little bit later on, but
Yeah, I think it's this part. So then Carver starts to expound, and he says kind of two things. One is that you're just like him. He's like, you're a survivor like me. You know that not everyone matters, that like only the strong matter, like that sort of thing. He says, I know this about you because you wouldn't be here if that wasn't true. Like that kind of thing. And he talks about why he needs to be strong and why people need to be strong is to be able to build a future. And he's like a future for my son, who's coming, who is, Rebecca is pregnant, and Carver is saying, yeah, that's my son, not Alvin's. He's my son, and, I'm going to raise him, and I need to raise him in the best environment kind of thing. And I have to be strong to do that. I'm not going to have weak people around who will put my children at risk. And I want to leave them almost like an empire sort of thing. And he said, and it's kind of pitching you on that, like, you can be a part of that too. You could be one of my lieutenants pretty easily. Like you're good. You're one of it. And when
we're like 10.
Right. Yeah. I'm a child. Yeah. I basically just indulged him here on this one. I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. Like, thanks, whatever. So I didn't dismiss it like to his face, but I didn't I just kind of went that route.
I was pretty antagonistic here and was like, no, I'm nothing like you, sorry. And basically just shat on everything he was saying.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I figured I shouldn't because I was like, well, if I got to play his game and maybe I'll have a shot at escaping later, it's worth it. So that's how I decided to play it.
Yeah, I mean that's totally reasonable to do that. He's proven to be a murderous psychopath. So if you didn't like what you're saying, he could have just killed you.
Yeah, that was kind of my
whatever.
Yeah, that was sort of my concern. So I was like, I'm just do that. From here we leave. We get sent back to the detention center. It's nighttime. Everyone's kind of talking about their day, whatever, from what's going on, and they start talking about an escape plan of what to do. They've got two kind of competing plans. One is you could get a radio to Luke, and Luke will be able to tell you like where the guards are, and you'll be able to slip out. And the other one is to use the speakers to make a lot of noise to bring the herd here, and when the herd's crashing into the compound, we'll be able to escape because they'll be dealing with all the bullshit. Also, Luke flagged a couple of them down, so Luke's talked to other people besides us at this point.
Yep.
And what? Also during this talk, Jane comes and says that you can cover yourself in walker guts to escape, because some of the group is like, well, if we bring the herd here, won't it just kill us? And Jane is like, well, if the herd's here, we could just blend in with them. If you just cover yourself in walker guts, you can slip through them. Clementine agrees with this. She says, yeah, me and Lee did this in Atlanta. It does work. And so we decided we can do both. Luke will give us the info, but we'll also bring the herd here. So then we'll be able to work together with those things to be able to escape, which is a pretty good plan in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, bringing the herd there is not the safest, but destroying Carver's compound is a good idea. So it seems like a win-win.
Yeah, it seems like it would make it hard, if not impossible, for them to come after you again, which would be good. That would be a big win.
Which they've proven they will do that if they're around. So,
right.
It's a win.
It's a win. It's risky, but I think it's a good risk for sure. So they come up with the plan. They're going to do that. So first thing they do is Clementine's got to sneak out of the detention area to go into the supply room and steal a walkie-talkie to get to Luke. They do that. They end up using like a pulley system to be able to basically get Clementine on the roof to snatch that. So so far, so good. Clementine comes back, shows she's got the walkie-talkie, and the group is in higher spirits, kind of knowing, okay, we've got a plan in motion. We're not stuck, basically. The next morning, chores are getting assigned. Some of the people are getting taken to their chores, and Clementine, Kenny, and Mike are in the detention center still deciding who should take the walkie-talkie to Luke. I advocated for it being us, since that's who Luke said should come. I kind of thought it would be easier for me to get away than either of them. It seems like Clementine could slip off a little easier, because it seems like she could be, based on yesterday at least, getting sent from one shore to the other, whereas Kenny and Mike might just be working on the expansion all day.
Yeah, also, I feel like it's if she was, walking around looking for Luke and she got caught, I feel like it'd be easier to be like, oh, I'm just kind of lost, sorry, because she's a little girl, so.
Right. Yeah, it's smart. It's sort of silly that there was even an argument about it. It's like, it should obviously be Clementine. But so Clementine has the walkie, and she's going away, and they get split up for their work. They thought the three of them were going to be together, but Clementine gets sent to work with Bonnie, and Bonnie's... maybe this is where she's moving from feeling bad to starting to suspect Carver, but she's pretty shook up about Carver killing Reggie. She's like, when you told me that happened, I was like, I don't know. Did he? Maybe there's a thing. And she was like, I talked to Carver, and he was like, yep, he's weak. I kill weak people.
Yep. Not hiding that one.
Yeah, he didn't even, play coy or anything. He was just like, yep, that's what happened. And so then Bonnie, I think, is now moving into the, oh, this guy's a bit worse than I've been accepting. And, this is problematic. Are you doing okay? That sort of stuff. And at this point, you have an option to talk to Bonnie about Luke or not. You can either not tell her about the Luke plan, or you can. It looks like for both of us, we did not tell Bonnie about Luke, along with 64% of people. I didn't do this because I don't trust her.
Yeah. Yep. Simple enough. Same. It just didn't seem necessary to tell her about Luke. Again, to me, it's like, how do you not know he's bad? If he just straight up tells you, yeah, I killed that guy. He's not hiding things. I don't get it. I don't trust her.
Yeah, not at all. She's too, accepting or not firm enough on that this guy's bad. If she had come and was like, he's horrible, we have to leave right now, I'm gonna get you out, I would have probably told her about Luke then, but she didn't. She was still she's still figuring it out, I guess. And so I'm like, I'm not really bringing you in more, kind of thing.
Yeah, if she really felt like he was really bad, she would for sure probably try to leave.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, or if she would have come to us and said, he's bad, I want to leave, I want to get out of here, and then we could be like, actually, we're trying to figure something out, you want in. But she didn't do any of that, so, yeah. And then 36% of people did tell Bonnie about Luke. Jennifer on Twitter wrote in and said, nah, after that nonsense at the resort, I decided she couldn't be trusted. So, yeah, same vein. Don't trust you, Bonnie.
Yep, she sucks.
Mm-hmm. So from here, Bonnie is like, okay, you don't have to work with me. I just wanted to check in on with you. Go be with Kenny. And so on our way to go meet up with Kenny, we go into the comic book shop to try to find Luke. And he's not there. We look around a little bit and we can't find anything. And then we get caught by Troy. And he's pissed. Not a great scene. And we get taken back to the detention center. And while we're there, we find that Luke has been captured. Luke's on the ground, pretty beat up. And Carver is clearly in the midst of a speech.
Yep.
And it was you thought Luke would be your savior, but of course he's not, because he sucks and he's dumb.
Yeah. Like, nice speech.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing like that, and it's like, I need you to convince me that I can forgive you, like that sort of shit. Like he sucks.
Yeah, he's definitely just playing with him at that point.
Mm-hmm. And finally, in his speech, he pulls out. He's like, the last thing I'm missing now that we're all where we need to be, is my walkie-talkie. So if someone can get me my walkie-talkie in the next 3 seconds, there won't be any consequences.
Yeah, so, at this point, like, obviously we have the walkie-talkie. So, you can either try to hide it and pretend you don't have it, or you didn't take it, or you can try to tell the truth. So it looks like we both tried to come clean along with 33% of people. So 67% of people tried to hide it, cover it up. So yeah, what was your thought process on that? On on trying to come clean?
I thought that maybe the amount of trouble I could get in would maybe be a little less, and I didn't want like the group collectively to get in trouble for something I did. So I figured that would maybe help.
Yeah. That's what I thought too. And then just after seeing, after Carver talked to us about like, you're the same as me and blah blah blah, it seemed like maybe he'd give us a little bit more slack than someone else, maybe a little bit. So it seemed better just to be straightforward with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Lauren on Twitter wrote in and said, I tried to hide it, and then I tried to admit to stealing it. So I think at first it was maybe trying to hide, and then was like, no, I won't. Never mind, I want to try to admit.
Yeah, because you get like, he gives you a couple chances here, or there's like a couple times you can admit to it right away or wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried right away to admit it.
Me too.
Yeah. Let's see. Chris on Twitter said, I tried to until Kenny interrupted. So that's a little sneak peek.
Mm-hmm. And then Maj on Twitter said yes, so they did also try to admit to stealing. So what happens is you try to admit to taking the walkie, and Kenny pulls that out of your hand, and he's like, oh, I got it. Here it is. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what I was thinking trying to get your stuff, basically.
Yeah, classic Kenny, like, whatever.
Yeah, and as this is happening, Carver is counting, and he's already said 1 and 2, and then as Kenny's putting it in his hand, he says 3. So it's like, he obviously wasn't going to give, it didn't matter when he got it, he was still going to say it was too late. And so Carver beats the shit out of Kenny. He's got he's got the walkie in his hand, and he just hits Kenny in the face like 10 times with it, and like enough that like Kenny's face is getting really fucked up. You're like, and he's hit him specifically a lot in the like next to your eye/eye area.
Yeah.
And Kenny's looking rough.
I thought he was for sure gonna die. Like, it was bad.
Yeah. It really like feels like it. It's a brutal beating. Ultimately, Carver leaves and doesn't kill Kenny, but he beats the hell out of him. And Bonnie tells Carlos, you need to patch Kenny up right now. We're going to leave tonight. We have to escape. So, and Bonnie got Carver to stop hitting Kenny. I think she said, like, Carver, that's enough. And Carver was willing to stop at that point. So later that night, the group is discussing what to do, whether to rest up or leave tonight. Some of the group's attitude is kind of, we're pretty beat up. Like, this is a rough go. Can we really leave right now? Sarita, Kenny's girlfriend, is very shaken because she's seen Kenny maybe be beaten to death. Almost. Like,
Yeah, seriously.
he's like unconscious. He's been unconscious for like hours kind of thing. So she's understandably shook up. Kenny, of course, is knocked out. That sort of stuff. And then the other kind of half of the group is like, Bonnie said she'd help us tonight. That doesn't necessarily mean she can help us any night. We need to do this while we can. You know, we saw what Carver did so far. Like, he might kill us all if we wait too long. So
Yeah. One thing too with Kenny. Also, Carlos saying he might be blind in that one eye, so he might even be sort of disabled at that point too. Like one, beat up, two, unconscious, and three, like maybe not super useful in light of all those things, and maybe being blind.
Yeah. Carlos mentions, Kenny may be blind. He might lose the eye. Also, we don't know if he has brain damage or not because he's still unconscious, kind of thing. Which, like, definitely a rough spot. And so, as they're discussing, Luke then is like, well, I think we need to, devil's advocate here. Which, not a fan of Luke doing that. Is devil's advocate here. We may need to leave some people behind. We don't know if Kenny will wake up. Sarita's obviously not in condition to travel. Like, maybe those of us who can go should. And for me here, I said no fucking way. I scolded Luke pretty hard on this and was like, we're not leaving anyone behind. Like, that shit's not happening. Like,
yeah,
we're a group. Sarita here is like, you got us into this mess. Like, what the hell? And I agree with that. Like, if this group had never come across Kenny's group would have just been fine in the lodge. So, yeah, I said no way. Were you same spot?
Yeah. Oh, same. Like, I think this is the point too where I like Luke up until this point. And I'm like, dude, that's kind of sleazy. Like, seems like you just don't like Kenny. Like, if this was anyone else, you'd probably want to wait.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. And I think just this sequence of actions, these two paired, of Kenny stepping up and, like, taking the mic or taking the walkie so you don't get hurt, and then Luke being kind of a coward here, that, like, solidified my feeling from last week of Team Kenny or Team Luke. It was like, okay, I was Team Kenny last week, and I'm feeling it more here for sure.
Yep. But
then, as we're kind of arguing, Kenny comes up and he's like, you're not going to worry about leaving anyone behind. We're going tonight, which was dope. And,
badass.
Badass. You get a chance to hug Kenny, which, of course, I did.
Yep, 1,000%. And
then Kenny's like, just so you know, none of what happened is your fault. It's okay. Which is like, you're the fucking dude, man. Like, love it. He's affirming. He's right. My guy. He's a little crazy sometimes, but he's my guy.
Yeah, a little rash.
Yeah. But, I feel like those things, just getting that sequence of, like, Kenny doing some really good shit was real nice. Really like that.
Totally agree.
So Clementine then gets the plan on the move. What she does is she gets hoisted up again like last time, and she sets off the PA when she sneaks into Carver's office. She puts in like an ad in the CD player, and all the speakers are outside, so it's just going to bring the walkers to him, kind of thing. Alvin gets up, and we try to get Alvin to come with us, and he's like, I can't leave this room. Like, I'm going to die here, kind of thing. And so we're like, okay, that's fine. And he has a small gun from Carver's desk, and he shoots one of Carver's guys / gets shot himself as we escape.
Yep.
While we're escaping out of there, we see in the warehouse floor, our group is all captured by Carver, and he's got a gun on them. And we jump off of the platform we're on and land on Carver, knocking him over. His gun goes flying, and Kenny shoots Carver in the leg. So Carver's down and grabs a crowbar and says, the rest of you can leave. This'll just take a minute.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, super brutal. And so some of the group is like, cool, see you, Kenny. And they just like go outside to let him finish. And a couple of them try to kind of convince him he doesn't need to do this. And he's like, it'll just be a second. I'll wrap this up.
Yeah, he's super nonchalant about it too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny. And then, so at this point you can stay and watch. You can choose to watch Kenny brutally murder Carver, or you can kind of leave. And I think either way, Carver, like, he'll like make fun of you and call you, say you're weak if you don't watch, and then if you do watch, he's like, yeah, I knew you were just like me, something like that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Way, he kind of. So it looks like we were actually opposite here. I chose not to watch. Same with 52% of people, and then it looks like you chose to watch. So 48% of people watched. So, yeah, why'd you want to watch?
I think my thought was that like this guy has been brutal to people like all along the way. I think seeing him like just wreck Kenny so much earlier, I was just like, I want to be witness to this sort of thing. Like,
yeah.
You're getting what you deserve sort of attitude. And, yeah, I think that was kind of my thought. And that he, like, hit us earlier, so it wasn't like he has standards in that. And you're right, though. He did say that. He was like, see, you're strong like me. That's why you can be here. They need a sheep. They're sheep. They need a shepherd like you, sort of thing. And I was a shepherd here. And, you know, for me, I'm like, nah, you're a piece of shit. But, like, I'm going to watch you get fucked by this crowbar. And part of me wishes I didn't stay. It was pretty fucking brutal. It's really gross. Like, just another one of those, like, Telltale examples of making something that you wouldn't think would be that gross because it's a Telltale game, and it's still really fucking gross. Like, his face is, like, gone.
Yeah, they really punish you for staying. For sure. They're like, all right, you want to watch? Okay, you're going to watch.
Yeah, I think that they did a good job of earning that. Like, they made you pay for it for being willing to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so my reasons were... I was tempted for those exact same reasons. I was like, fuck this dude. 2, he is evil. 3, like, you kind of have to be a little bit desensitized in the zombie apocalypse, but this seemed too extreme to me. Like, I don't need to watch this guy get, like, beat to death. Like, I know he's gonna die. That's good enough for me.
Right.
Yeah, so I feel like that was enough for me. I was like, nah, I'm good, Kenny. No thanks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And too, that Kenny didn't ask you to. Like, I think Kenny
Yeah.
would have been happy if you left. You could just stay and be like, nah, I'm going to watch this too. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Your reasoning makes sense. And, yeah. Next up, we've got Pogo on Twitter who wrote in and said, no way. I found it a bit disturbing that this was even an option. Which I thought was great reading this. When I got this comment, I was like, oh, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have watched. Like, it made me feel a little bit... I felt like it made me question what I did in a good way. I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have been so fine with it. Like, I was just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yep, totally. Let's see. Harley on Twitter said, nope, I gave him the privacy he wanted. That sounds kind of weird, but yep.
Then Lauren said, I did on the second time around, and it was gross. So, I think Lauren has played this season twice. So maybe earlier when she said she tried to hide it the first time, but the second time she admitted. So, for that Kenny one. But yeah, so she watched it the second time, and it was gross.
Yeah.
It is gross. Fully.
Yep. I think, yeah, when I played this a long time ago with you, I think we ended up watching it too. But
I think you're right.
I don't remember exactly. Cool. Daniel on Twitter said, at first I didn't. I thought it was too much for Clementine, and again, big Michael Madsen fan, great character too. So maybe it was...
So
maybe liked Carver a little bit.
Yeah, I think Daniel's a fan of Carver's character, which is a really good villain. So, would agree there. Maj on Twitter said absolutely, so they did watch.
Absolutely watched. Nice. Beth on Twitter said, of course, it was ever so satisfying to watch. All right.
And then, right? Oh yeah. And then lastly, Chris on Twitter says, I watched the little bitch get what he deserved. So I think it is
nice.
kind of fun that there's a divergence of opinions here on that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's disturbing this is an option. And then, fuck Carver. Watch him get it.
I like those last two a lot.
Yeah, it's fun. So, tough choice, and I understand people on each end for sure. And I feel like I'm pulled a little more to the not watching camp upon reading these, so I think that was good for me.
Yeah, really in a little bit.
So after this, you're outside with the group, and you begin to cover yourselves in walker guts to be able to move through the herd that is arriving. And Troy comes out and is like, "What are you guys doing putting guts on yourself? That's gross." Like,
Yeah.
And Jane's like, "Troy, we talked about this. We're going to go away together." And he's like, "Okay, but you got to have a bath. That's gross."
He's so dumb.
He's stupid. And then she shoots him in the dick, and he starts screaming, and the walkers jump on him.
Yep. Fitting in for him.
Yeah, I agree. And so the group begins to walk through the herd covered in walkers' guts. Meanwhile, some of the people from the compound are on top of the roof shooting with their machine guns down at the herd. As we're walking through, a stray bullet goes and hits Carlos in the neck. And he falls down screaming and bleeding, and walkers jump on him immediately.
It's really brutal and pretty sad.
Yeah, definitely rough. And so Sarah's like freaking out, and we tell her to run. We're like, "Run, Sarah, run. Like, just get out of here." Because we're basically spotted at this point, since Carlos has kind of drawn attention to the area. We're not blending in anymore anyway.
Yep. Game over.
And it's like total mayhem going on. There's like walkers everywhere. People are trying to like fight them. It's like a total shit show at this point, for sure. And as the mayhem's going on, you see Sarita get bit on the wrist by a walker, and your final decision for the game shows up, which is, are you gonna chop Sarita's arm off or not?
Yeah. Yeah, because we learn, I think this is the first time in this episode where we learn from Reggie that you can like cut off an arm or a leg if that gets bitten, I think, right? Or is that something we had found out before? I don't remember.
We knew it from that guy who was with Ben in season 1, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah. I think so.
Didn't we?
Oh, yeah, because you can cut his leg off.
The bear trap guy's leg.
Guy. Yeah.
So,
okay.
but we did know that again from Reggie earlier. So I guess even if we'd forgotten or something,
yeah,
we would still know
way.
it from Reggie. Is that you can remove the limb if you do it fast enough, and someone could survive.
Yeah. So looks like we both, along with 57% of people, decided to chop her arm off. And then I guess the other option here is to not chop the arm off, but to kill the walker. So it's, maybe the thought is you can kill the walker, then chop the arm off. I don't know. I just went right for the arm.
Yeah, me too. I wonder if the thought of if you kill the walker is like maybe you'll be able to get away and chop her arm off in a safer context or something. Which,
yeah.
I could get that reasoning, but yeah, my thought was like, I saw it happen in the moment, like, let's just do this and we'll deal with it later once we get out of here, like, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you get bit in a herd of walkers, it's pretty much, you're not really going to go anywhere, unfortunately. Like, we don't know what happened to her yet because the episode ends there, but yeah, my thought too was like, you're going to die either way, so might as well try this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was worth the shot for sure.
Yeah.
Mark on Twitter wrote in and said, "I forgot about this. You always cut the arm off if you have the chance. That's what video games taught me."
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like that's a good rule of thumb.
Yep, 100% agree. Maj on Twitter said, "Yep." So, chopped it off.
Mm-hmm. And then last, Chris on Twitter said, "Cut it like butter." So, also cut. And so
Easy.
We cut, and then Sarita just screams with her like half arm out.
Yeah.
And it's gushing blood because you cut an arm off. And when she screamed and the blood gushed, I was like, oh no, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Like, that's what it felt like. And then boom, episode over. So I was like, oh fuck. Really good way to like drop it right there. It's like, okay, episode over. Like, I really like that. In the midst of like the mayhem, the total tension, like what a cool spot to just end the episode at.
Yeah, very good. And yeah, this episode was intense. I guess we're kind of getting into general thoughts here, but
yeah, let's move into them.
Yeah, so yeah, I forgot most of what happened in this episode, but I think this might have been one of the craziest episodes. Just all the brutal things that happened, the people that died, like how much is packed into this. Like this is, I think, one of the better episodes of maybe all of the Walking Dead video game series, all 4, or I guess more than 4 games. But yeah, so this is crazy.
Yeah, I thought so too. There was so much going on and getting like several like deaths in this, like Carlos getting killed, Alvin getting killed, Carlos getting killed, like or Carver getting killed. Like there's a lot going on here, which is pretty crazy. Like there's really a lot going on, and I forgot a lot of this too, as well.
Yeah.
I guess also a related comment to that is Carver was around less than I thought he was. I definitely remembered him being a bigger part in this season. So I'm sort of surprised that episode 3 got killed off. Like, there's still 2 more after this. Like, that's kind of crazy. In my head, I remembered him being like this big bad villain. And I think in my head, I must have just imagined him being around for the whole season or most of it or whatever. And so, kind of crazy that really he's... an episode and a half that he's in, basically?
Yeah, like he was barely in this, but he left. He like made a big splash though.
Yeah, he's really notable.
Cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
We won't list spoilers for it, but like he might be the most notable villain in any of the Walking Dead Telltale games, even though his time is shorter than probably some of them. Like, but he's definitely like one you remember for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and this, I mentioned this earlier, but he definitely reminds me of Negan now. Even like the just the compound, the way he like uses fear, manipulates people, even like the how he has that kid potentially with that girl, I forget her name, with Alvin's
Rebecca.
Yeah, like that. It's like, man, that, like Negan did that similar thing. Like it's just like, I don't know if they had him and Negan in mind, but it seems like they probably did because he's very much like that. Even getting like a cool actor to play him is pretty sweet.
Yeah, totally. Also, actually, I forgot to put this in the notes, so I'm glad I remembered. But Christopher wrote in to us and about our last episode asking about who came first, Negan or Carver, kind of thing. And he said, Hey guys, just listened to the podcast on episode 2. Negan debuted in the comics on issue 100 in 2012. Carver debuted in 2014 in the video game. So I'm guessing Negan comic was an inspiration, but I guess that... So 2014 was probably like season 4 or 5 of the Walking Dead TV show. So Negan still didn't show up on the TV show for a few years. So I bet Telltale did take him as inspiration because it was like, well, he won't show up on the show for a while anyway.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Another comment, another thought that I had is the part at the end of the game when the herd's coming and all of that. It really felt like small spoiler, sort of spoiler for Walking Dead TV show. I don't know, maybe season 7 or 8. Something like that. Maybe season 6. Oh. I don't remember. Season 6. I think it is season 6. Anyway.
Is it the black and white episode?
No, not that one. It's after that. When all the walkers descend on Alexandria, and Carl gets shot in the face, and like Rick goes like mayhem man.
Yeah.
This felt a lot like that to me. where
Yeah.
like there's walkers just everywhere. It's total chaos. Like that's how that really felt when all the walkers were in Alexandria to me. Of like it was just so, and you know they had to do the stench coat too, covered in walker guts, like trying to make their way through. Like I thought this felt so much like that, and I really liked that. I thought that was really cool. And I rewatched that episode recently on TV, or on Netflix. So it was like cool to just be like, oh man, this feels very, very similar.
Yeah, that was one of the most badass episodes, I think.
Yeah,
So that's cool that it was a throwback for you for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this episode made me like it like solidified the Kenny love for me. Just having him get like beat up and like almost killed, and just kind of stand up a little bit later. I'm like, nah, we're going. This is cool. Like, don't worry about me. It's like, dude, you're the man.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the dude. I all about Team Kenny for sure. I feel like full support for him. It's like, all right, I'm behind you. I want to work with you. However, like you just stepping up like that and like being so caring for Clementine and stuff. It's like, okay, you are a dick to other people and you're wrong sometimes, but you're committed to us. And I don't know. Yeah, really like Kenny. Really into him, and am glad he's with us.
Yeah. Glad they brought him back, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And that's episode 3. So, yeah, if you've got thoughts, please let us know. Write in. You can talk to us on Twitter at StoryEverPod, and keep the conversation going there. That would be fun. And, yeah, we'll be back with episode 4 next time. I guess other contact info. Our website's TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed.com. You can get our backlog of episodes there. If you'd like to support the podcast financially, you could do that at patreon.com/TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed. For as little as $1 per month, that'll give you access to a bonus topical episode we do each month. So like our favorite villains from our favorite villains, or favorite Pokemon, or favorite games as kids, stuff like that is on there. And yeah, I guess that's what we got, and we'll see you next time.
Cool. Yeah. See you guys.